Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another edition of E-Heroes. This is episode 229, and today I have the original Road Warrior with us. Yeah, I mean, us older than dirt marketers, we got to stick together. So
We
I'm bringing Randy Chaffee on, and we're just gonna chat.
exactly. Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you for reminding me that I'm kind of old school. But it's funny. That's what we do, buddy. Older than dirt, and bro hugging and pizza pie lunches and kissing babies. It's damn near like being a politician, right?
And for those that are joining us on audio, Randy is actually in his car because that's where he lives his life.
Exactly. And in my car, calling on customers, pulling to the side of the road to do a uh, a virtual a show. Can you believe it? Doesn't get any better now.
No, and the thing is that I see you every day. I see you every day on TikTok, and up until like a month ago, I wasn't even on TikTok, and now I have a new audience to piss off every day. That I
Yeah, it's funny. I'm not a TikTok fan. I'm a B2B kind of guy, so LinkedIn is my go-to by far. I use LinkedIn or Facebook and Instagram as sort of a redundancy, maybe I guess. But there's one thing I found, Rob, is that as being an old school guy and trying to be more hybrid in what I'm doing, more new school also, I've got a lot of these guys that I've dealt with in business for 20, 30, 40 years.
hmm
But now I've got their sons, but even more importantly, grandsons that are coming into the business. And you got to go where your potential new customers live, right?
right.
And most of those young guys, they may be on LinkedIn begrudgingly, but they love that TikTok stuff. And so you're never's a long time, and I'm a little weird at times, but so I'm going to say today and renege on this later, maybe. But I'm not going to do dancing with goats and mimicking songs and doing weird stuff. But
Or pointing every. That's not for me
I
either.
know I'm just going to get on and do my video, add a little music to it, maybe, and do my thing. But yeah, and since I've got to know you via virtually, I love your stuff, man. You're there every day with some great content as well, and yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, this morning I recorded my it was a video is to tip or not to tip because Starbucks is
Hmm.
now having this thing where you can tip before you even get your stuff, which I think is
Right.
ridiculous. So I made my video, I recorded it, popped it up there, and I'm getting this slew of yes, you're really you're hitting home. I love your message, Rob. Yeah. And then I get this one that's like, you asshole, you should be tipping everybody. And I'm like, you always get one.
There's always one, and I love the fact that you brought that up. I didn't get a chance to make a comment. I just liked it because I was traveling, driving down the road, listening to stuff. But that's a one that I don't like either because I'm a good tipper. If you're reasonably, I mean, not even if you just show up and like don't piss me off,
Right.
I'm going to give you a good tip, right? But this assumption up front before you even as much as like came over to see if I'm at the table or not just bugs me, I guess.
Yeah.
I just wish you'd back off slightly with that, but hey, it is what it is.
Oh,
But yeah,
and some places are doing this mandatory tip, and I'm like, dude, tipping is optional. It's based on service. Now I have
right,
to mandatory tip you, and I haven't even gotten the service yet.
right, right. And the one that really gets me, most places I go, they'll tell you, but it really irritates me when they've got the automatic 18%
hmm
on there, like you said, tell me that.
Right.
Now I might give you more. If you're good, I'll give you more. I don't have any problem being a nice tipper. But it really makes me mad when they don't tell you, and so you don't notice it because you're talking, you're busy. You look at it, and you throw $40 on it. It probably should have been 12 because they already took 27 already, right? It's like just be honest with me, would you?
Right.
But yeah,
Well,
whatever.
then they trick you to say, okay, we've already added your tip, but if you want to tip more,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I thought about doing Rob as a road warrior that I am. What do you think about my carrying around a little tip jug of myself when I go see a customer? What do you think? That'd work well?
No, but you brought up a good point early on is that you're seeing kids and grandkids and I have clients now that are starting to embrace TikTok and they're in manufacturing and most of them are my age and they're so used to dealing with people that are that age. Well,
Hmm.
now they have to communicate to people that are coming on board that are half their age or a third of their age and TikTok is where you communicate with them.
It
And
is.
granted that most of them that are on here now have 9-second attention spans. Um, what are you gonna do? I mean, you got to go where the audience is.
Well, you do. I'm a big believer in that. I always say all the time, you have to go where your customer lives, right? You can't expect them, well, you can and you'll lose, in a lot of cases. But I try to operate that I don't expect they're going to come find me. I better
Hmm.
go put myself where they are, and so that's what I do. I kind of enjoyed TikTok a little bit, only from a standpoint versus the other. I try to keep the LinkedIn and some of those a little more stoic, maybe a little more business, if you will, because it's a
Right.
business platform. But it's kind of fun sometimes uh, to do the TikTok thing. I just have a hard time from a time standpoint to do two different videos. So
Right. No,
it just
I
so I
do I
just
do one video, I share it to Instagram, and then upload it to YouTube, and I'll use the same
yeah,
thumbprint on all of them, or the thumbnail, or whatever they call it, and
yep.
I'll share. I mean, you got to recycle the content. We don't have time to be doing 5 different videos.
No, God, no. It's I just came off of of a 79-day challenge that I put myself up for, where I did a phrase or a thought or a concept every day for 79 days.
Hmm.
Um, and a couple buddies of mine, uh, from a mastermind group I belong to, Sean Litvak and Eric Bam are a couple guys that you may or may not. I don't know if you follow them or know them, but they were doing like the 99 days of summer, right, or 98 days of summer, or whatever it was they did. And all of a sudden, I said, I just, I think that's a good challenge. What do I do? I want to do words and phrases and thoughts. Um, there was nothing magical about somebody asked me, is there something magical about 79? And yes and no. I wanted it to be quirky and unique, not like 100 or
Right.
60 or, something. But secondarily, the real honest answer is I messed up. I looked at the calendar and I thought I figured out it would take me to the day before Thanksgiving, but I messed up. And so once I said 79 days, I just stuck with it and I ended 3, 4 days early. But I did that for I'm a big believer that you have to practice your trade. And one of the things in our trade, in my world of sales, our world of sales, is that you got to be consistent. You got to be disciplined, even if you're not motivated, right? Because I'm a motivated desperado, but I'm not always motivated.
Hmm.
But I can be always disciplined, right? And
Right.
so that was a practice for me more than even it was. If anybody got anything out of anything I ever said, that's cool. I hope they did. I got a lot of nice responses and stuff, but I did it really, Rob, just to say, Randy, for 79 days in a row, no matter what else you do, you're going to make this stupid video because you told everybody in the world. But most importantly, I told myself, right?
Right. Well,
And that was
consistency
the
is
key.
discipline, and just the fact that you stuck with it. And a lot of people wouldn't do that.
Yep. And there's days I didn't want to. There's days that I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, it's 3 o'clock. I haven't done my video yet. Could I just blow this one off because I don't have a word or phrase? I can't think of anything I want to talk about. Then I said, no, that's not what you do. So
Hmm.
just sit down and think of something, you idiot. And so I did. And some of the best ones I had when I just came off the cuff and just, I mean, literally one time Rob, I jumped on and just, I don't have anything. I set it I did it from my car, just like I am right now. I set it up on my little holder here and I just hit the button and I go, "Hey, it's Randy." And I first word that popped in my head and I talked about it.
Hmm.
One of the probably my best ones in my opinion, anyway. Because as we talked off before we got on here, I've been doing this thing. I claim 4+ decades in my industry, which is accurate. I only claim that because I have a little vanity, and it's really I can say longer, but I don't want to sound that old. But uh, if I can't come up with something to talk about, just in my industry or just in life in general, I'm 66. If I don't have something to talk about for a minute and a half after 66 years, I haven't been paying attention.
Right.
Right. So that's, but it's good stuff. And this
So
whole,
so
I love,
as the road warrior, what is it that you help customers with?
I'm in the building materials world, so I'm into metal roofing components
Hmm.
and a metal roofing shingle. But metal roofing components is a big part, fasteners and adhesives and vent materials, things like that, and then all kinds of components that goes into the post frame or pole barn building industry. So been I've been doing that for a long time. Uh, Spent a real brief time many years ago as a purchasing agent for a lumber chain buying the same products. But one of the things, a tagline that I use a lot and I talk about a lot because it truly it means a lot to me is love what you do and do what you love.
Hmm.
Because if you don't, either figure out why you don't, find a way, or I never advocate just walk away and have no money, but start looking at what can I do then if I'm not loving what I do.
Right.
And I truly love what I do, but when I was a purchasing agent for a while, I didn't love what I do. I didn't love what I was doing. Great company, great people, great everything other than I'm a sales guy. That's what I am. I enjoy people. I enjoy helping people solve problems. And but and you hit it when you asked the question, and I did not miss on that. What do you help people with? See, I somebody asked me one time, a young guy, when did you go from selling a bunch? Because I've always been pretty good to maybe being better than pretty good, which I think I am,
Hmm.
is when I stopped selling.
Right.
I don't sell anybody. I don't even like the word sales rep. I don't even like the word I'm a sales guy. I mean, we use that generically, right, to explain what we do, but I don't sell anybody anything. If you don't need what I have, I don't want you to have it. I'll
Yeah.
move on to somebody that can use it and can need it, right?
When I started, there was this book. I think it was called 101 Ways to Sell or something like that.
Mhm.
And I looked at it, I'm like, I can't remember 101 ways to do anything. So
I
it's
know.
like, I'm going to remember one thing. And, I tell a story or I share my experience with somebody. If they like me, great, we can do business.
Yep.
But I don't want to go in there with, with 100 ways to overcome their objection, because to me, if they don't want me or my service or my product, it doesn't matter how many times I answer their objection. 5 minutes after I leave, they're going to call me up and say, I want to cancel.
Right. Right. Exactly. And I've found that if you some of these are so old school, if people would pay attention, but if you ask the questions, you listen to what they're doing, you interview them. I
Mhm.
start many a conversation with a brand new customer is, hey, I'd like to stop in. I'm in the industry. You're in the industry. We don't need know each other right now. I just may not be the right company for you. You might not be the right customer for me. So the worst outcome of this half-hour meeting is we both have a new friend in the industry, and that's not bad. That's worst case.
Mhm.
Best case is maybe there's something we can do together, or not. That's okay. Either way is fine. Let's just see. And, and if you go with that route, it takes that pressure off that they feel like they're getting sold, because I feel like this probably is an old Zig Ziglarism. Our mutual friend Ben Gay the third will tell us both if we're wrong, but that 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 if nobody wants, everybody wants to buy,
Mhm.
but nobody wants to be sold, right?
Right.
So just quit selling and help and be there. And Ben, as we know, speaking of a mutual friend, is the master closer, right? But if you do all these things the right way up front, you don't need that big thunderous lightning bolt from the heavens close, right?
Mhm.
Because you're closing every step of the way by merely asking, relating. Do we have a program that makes sense for you? How can I help you make more? In the case of B2B, it's really about how do I help you service your customers better? Because everything I sell ends up is sort of an OEM type product. They take my product and sell with their package, right?
Mhm.
So if my service is better, my quality is better, and the price is in line. But there's a fourth one now that I talk about a lot. We always know that triad, right? The price, quality, service, which
Mhm.
I always feel it should be quality, service, price, because price doesn't matter if the other two aren't there. But I think it's a box again from a standpoint of there's a relationship, right?
Mhm.
If the relationship isn't there, it's not going to probably be long term.
Right.
And so I think that's key to develop that even prior to the product. And that's been my style, Rob, of selling for years and years. Not always, because I just learned everything about this product. And I mean, I could spew facts and figures and spec. I can still do that all day long if you want them. Nobody wants that.
No.
What they want to know is I'm real, I'm trustworthy. And if you know me, you believe in me, and you trust me, and you like me a little bit, and you believe that I'm honest, then you know that if I buy this product, as long as it's reasonable quality, right, good quality, as long as the service is right and the price is there, Randy's going to take care of you, right?
Mhm.
And that's what I sell. You see, and you know why I like to sell Randy? Because, and I think you may have, or somebody else I was listening to just earlier this week on something, but that out of 8 billion people on the planet, there's one thing that I can proclaim, right? As I am the absolute world champ, number one best at, bar none, is being me, right?
Mhm.
And and if I just be me, I don't have to practice that, because after this age that we established, and Rob, I'm not saying the number again, but after the age that I'm at, I'm pretty damn good at being Randy, right? So
Oh, yeah, only had a couple years to practice, right?
yeah, it's time flies. I only got another. I told somebody this morning. I said, I want to do this forever because I love what I do. And I probably will do it forever. I want to be that gray-haired, wrinkly-faced old guy that's walking around a trade show, and they go, "Randy's still alive? He's still here?" And they go, "But they don't say that already." I said, "You're okay. Price increase for you. That's it." But it's good stuff, man. Good stuff.
With the building trade as a whole kind of got a bad experience through COVID because of delays and shutdowns and
Oh,
whatnot. And I know that, from speaking to others that sometimes their project got delayed 6 months to a year. And how did you overcome some of that?
you know, the key there, and we talk about it a lot, and it really played out, Rob, was that was a time for massive, incredible, fall on the sword honesty.
Hmm.
You just had to tell people the way it was, because you couldn't BS your way through that.
Right.
Because whatever it was, I remember a guy one time with a truckload of some product that we sell. I sell everything in truckloads, right? Way out, not like months, but 8, 10, 12 weeks. And I said, when am I getting my order? And I said, kind of, I sometimes find myself a comedian. I'm only funny to myself, but but I said, when the semi pulls in your driveway, you hear the Jake brake and you hear the burp, burp, the horn, then you know it's there. He goes, so what you're telling me is you have no idea. I said, there you go. That's the honest answer. I could give you numbers if you want them. If you want to, what do you want to hear? If you want to hear 3 weeks, I'll tell you 3 weeks if that makes you happy. But that's a lie, because I have no clue. So I think it really, if you could work with them, give them the honest answers, find alternatives,
Hmm.
find, I can't give you this, but could you work with this for a while until we get back in? And then we'll see what happens. Sometimes they would do that and they go, I like the alternative you gave me better. So can I stay? Of course you can.
Hmm.
But I mean, but the biggest key of all was just honesty. And as soon as you knew bad information, none of us want to give bad information. We hate that, right?
Right.
But bad information is a thousand X better than erroneous or none.
Hmm.
Just tell me, it's like, don't make me wait for 25 minutes for my steak when you're out of steak. If you know you're out of steak when I sit down, tell me I have no sirloin,
Oh, yeah. I was
right?
just at a
Just tell me.
restaurant. We were at a restaurant, and we waited and we're waiting, and I'm like, what is going on? We've been waiting for our food for like 45 minutes. What's the deal? And finally, someone, walked by. I said, excuse me, where's our food? What's taking so long? She goes, okay, let me check. And she went back. She came back. She goes, we're out of some of the things. Can you want to replace your order? I said, no, I'm out of here.
Yeah, yeah, maybe 25 minutes ago I would have, right?
I'm like,
But the opposite of that in good service, Rob, I had that similar sort of scenario, but being proactive. The wait person came back almost immediately, says, "I'm sorry, sir," and she'd set down a little appetizer. I said,
mhm.
"Well, no, no, we didn't order that." She said, "No, no, no, that's on the house because we had your order in and found out after they got your order came up, we don't have anymore. So this is something for you to nibble on until what else would you like that we could get you?" Boom. I'm not mad at all.
Right.
I mean, I said, I'll even pay for this. You don't have to. Nope, nope, nope. It's on the house. But see, that's small differences, but that's big differences between being cognitive of the customer as a person and not caring. Right. That's
Mhm.
huge difference. If you show me you care, you can mess me up a lot, and I'm
Mhm.
pretty okay.
Yeah.
But you show me you don't care. That's when I get mad.
Now
And
you're stationed normally. You live in Naples, Florida, but right now you're
yep,
in Ohio when we're recording this.
yes.
So yeah, I mean, you are the road warrior. You're traveling all over. Is there a friendlier state than Florida?
Oh well, I got to tell you, I've been in Florida 10 years, and I was born to be there.
Hmm.
I love it there. I was born and raised in Michigan. I would say grew up, but I haven't yet, and don't plan to now. But because I did read on Facebook one time, and we all know that Facebook is 100% accurate, right?
Accurate, yes.
That
Hmm.
that if, when you turn 60, if you haven't grown up, you don't have to.
Well, I
And
still
so
don't know what I want to do when I grow up.
I don't either. I think I'll keep doing this for now unless I find something else. But no, I enjoy most of the states I travel to. And what I've really been enjoying the last couple of years, 2 or 3 years with the whole COVID world, when that happened, is I made a big transition. Uh, I've always been a road warrior for a long, 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 long time. But when I couldn't travel, I had to figure out some other force multipliers because, me not traveling for a week is like a long time.
Mm.
2 weeks was a long time. All of a sudden, when this became clear that this may be a long, long time with no end in sight for a while, I had to figure out new ways. And that's where I become sort of the more virtual Randy guy,
Mhm.
doing a lot more social media, my own podcast, which you're going to be so kind as to be on in the near future, doing this kind of thing. Um, and videos and to customers and those sort of things. I found a new way to be in front of customers when I couldn't be in front of customers. And then all of a sudden, so I coined a phrase. I use a hashtag hybrid road warrior Randy now because they become two camps at one point, Rob, where I'm doing nothing until we go back the old way.
Mhm.
Well, all of a sudden I'm finding maybe there's some new things that are better than the old way.
Right.
But then I also had the other camp that we're going to be this new normal, we're never going to travel, nobody's ever going to leave their house. Yeah, BS. Now that's first place in my industry. We are bro hugging and glad handing, and and burgers and Dr Pepper. Which Dr Pepper is my code word for a Cabernet. In case somebody doesn't like I drink Cabernet, so there it's out of the bag.
Hey,
But
when I'm not drinking iced tea, it's Dr. Pepper. So
exactly, there you go. Well, so I found that there's a hybrid way of combining those two things to augment each other. So, and I'm practicing it today. I'm practicing being a hybrid road warrior because I was up first call this morning with donuts at 7:30 to the customer, some more donuts to another customer at 9:45. I'm going to be after this. I'm going to go into a nearby town about 40 minutes away, take care of some emails, meet a customer for dinner and drinks, or some Dr. Pepper, excuse me. And but yeah, I pulled over to the side of the road. I mean, I did 2 or 3 posts today, right? Some videos. You probably saw them. Pulled off the side of the road, and now I'm recording this show with you. So it's truly a hybrid thing. I can bounce now. Have become very good at bouncing from old to new to wherever. So if I happen to not be able to travel for 2 months, that's right. I'll just turn up the virtual baby and rock and roll. But if I'm traveling full scale, like I will for the next few months, a lot, I'm still going to do things like, trade shows, 4, 5, 6, 8 interviews. I'll do it with, man on the street type stuff or a vendor of mine, or I should say a manufacturer of mine or a customer of mine, or just somebody in the industry that I know that I just want to do a 2, 3, 4 minute video from the show. So
as a road warrior, what hotel do you prefer? Do you go to the IHGs? Do you go to Marriott's? Do you go to?
I am a Hilton guy first,
Mhm.
um, and then an ISG guy second. I have a few points now and then in Marriott. Nothing against Marriott at all. I got started at Hilton many many years ago and been a diamond or whatever the heck for forever, and I like the Hilton properties. But but I have no issue with IHG, any of the IHG properties. I'm all Hilton this week every stay, I think, if I remember right. But I'll do IHG. I'm not one though. I don't, if it's 2 miles down the street, I'll go to the Hilton.
Mm.
I'm not one that will go, well, the closest Hilton's 27 miles, so I'm going to drive. Nah, no, I don't do that. About 10 miles or less, maybe. But in the same thing with airlines, I'm a Delta guy, and I got started with Delta living in Michigan most of my life. I was always at or near or within an hour or two. The last few years I lived up there. Now we go back in the summer. We have a summer place in northern Michigan, Traverse City area. But when I lived in Ann Arbor, it was like 20 minutes from Detroit Metro. But that was Northwest Airlines was the airlines that I used to fly, which
Hmm.
Delta bought them. So that just sort of I just did what I did and stayed with Delta. So uh, I'm a creature of habit when it comes to stuff like that because I'm usually doing stuff and changing things and that on the fly. I understand their app. I know how to do it without screwing it up. And for me, I just like to be able to go on real quick and switch things around if I need to change or cancel or move. Yeah, so I'm basically a Delta with airlines, budget with car rentals, and Hilton or IHG for hotels, and and Cabernet slash Dr Pepper for my drink of choice, and food, whatever you got that's edible, I'm in.
Yeah, I used to be a Hertz guy, and we went to Germany, and I we rented this big van, and that was the only way you could get it was through Hertz,
Mm.
and then when I came back to the States, they had my points all screwed up. They didn't apply anything of my van in Germany, and we had rented it for 2 weeks. So
Oh wow,
of course I was going to have some points. Nope.
right?
I said, "Nah, you're
Yeah.
done." So it's like,
Oh yeah, they can. I've had good luck overall. I had one issue with uh, with Hilton, but it was really more the property,
yeah.
and they they uh, they let me walk, which they're not supposed to do. Um, get rid of that phone call. They let me walk, which they're not supposed to, as a diamond member,
Mm.
because they screwed up. I had a room. I got everything. I mean, I checked in online. Then I'm sitting having a drink at Applebee's and something to eat, and I don't have a room. Well, I went
Wow.
through the how did that happen, and it was sort of uncaring. Oh well. So I drive down the road. Long story short, I did, but in fairness, I called into their hotline or diamond desk or whatever and told them the scenario, and they was incredibly apologetic, which helped, and sent me a bunch of points, which I said I'll take the points if you want because I am kind of irritated. But I said that's not why I'm calling. I just didn't like it. Just wanted you
Mhm.
to know I didn't like it. But no, I mean overall they've been very very good to me. So I enjoy the Hiltons. So
Yeah. Do you
yeah.
prefer? I mean, yeah. Granted, we're calling you the Road Warrior, and you that's your nickname, but you prefer driving versus flying, or taking a train, or
Yeah, I took the train one time and did not enjoy that. Uh, too many stops at too many podunk little towns all over the world. But I it depends. When I'm in the north in the summer, so most of my territory, I do cover Florida for a couple products, but most of my territory is the Great Lakes, New York State, and the upper New England states.
Mhm.
So when I'm in the summer back in Michigan, I drive most of the time, unless I'm going to Eastern New York or up in New England. Then I'll fly. Now this time of year when I'm in the South, I fly everywhere.
Mhm.
I don't mind flying and grabbing the rental car. I mean, it's still a lot of rental car.
Yeah.
Even then, I'll fly into Columbus, Ohio, and then have a rental car all week and be all over Ohio, a little bit of Indiana, whatever. Go to Buffalo, be all over New York State, and back to Buffalo. Do a little loop around. But I enjoy it. I don't mind the travel.
Mhm.
I don't mind driving. I don't mind airports and the whole concept of flying and the it just to me it's just I don't it's what I've
But
done,
but
so
the
I'm
thing
used to
is,
it.
is
But
is is you've developed though this pattern of going to see these great places, but you get to experience the local economies. You get to visit the best diners. You get to know
yep,
people,
you do. You get
and so social media is great, but you're getting in front of faces all day long.
exactly. And one of the beautiful, there's two things that I found. I've always enjoyed a big part of what I do is, as I'd mentioned, I think earlier, I've got customers that I've dealt with 25, 30 years. I'm now dealing with sons or daughters, grandsons or granddaughters, right, that are coming into the business. I mean, kids that literally come in the office at 5 years old and set up on my knee, right, while I'm talking to their dad, right? So, it's like just seeing friends, right, every day. I
Mhm.
go see friends and get paid to do it. Wow, that's kind of cool. But the other thing is, I do take more side trips a little than I used to. I remember New York State, Rob. I went for years and drove within 20 minutes of Cooperstown and never went to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Just never took the time because I'm Randy and I'm busy, right?
Mhm.
Finally, I said, no, this is stupid. Schedule yourself, excuse me, and go take an afternoon.
Mhm.
And I did, and I enjoyed it. And the other thing I've been doing lately, especially in the last few years of meeting people on social media, met so many people like yourself that you become friends with, but you've never met them physically. If I'm in an area, if I'm ever in your area, I'm calling you up. I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna be there in 2 weeks. Can we get together for a Mountain Dew or something, or a Dr. Pepper or whatever. I've had an opportunity to meet up with quite a few people that I've met via social media,
Mhm.
and and you know what? I love meeting people, and your world's always better
Oh yeah, yeah.
when
You
you
know,
when you
and
bring new people in your life.
and the thing is that I've been doing this podcast for 5 years. I get to meet all kinds of new people, just interviewing them, listening to their
Hmm.
story, understanding them, and eventually I meet them in real life, which is
Hmm.
really cool.
It is
Granted, the listeners get to experience both of us,
right.
but I've had people come, "Hey, Rob, that guest you had on there was fantastic. Bring him
Hmm.
on again, or bring her on again, or do this, or I hired them to do something."
Right.
Hey, you know,
That's
um,
good stuff. Oh, that's good stuff. I've had the opportunity to introduce a lot of people that I've met online, and I'm doing something right now. This is kind of cool, and you'll be included in this at some point here. Is I needed another. I guess so much travel right now that I didn't want to do another 79 days of commitment type thing because I got so much travel right now. But so I'm doing this weekly book review recommendation, I should say.
oh,
And
I
I did
saw the
I
one
did
with Ben Gay this morning.
yep, I did Ben, and I just recorded one for a buddy Brian Manson or Monahan, I should say. That'll be dropped Wednesday. Um, but so I've decided that I'm going to do with that. But it's to start with. It's obviously it's books I've read,
Mhm,
but secondarily, at the start, I've got probably 16, 18, 20 weeks worth.
mhm,
It's going to be people that I know
mhm,
that like that we've literally talked to, and I've become friends with, so that when I recommend it, I'm recommending it because not only is it a good book, and I recommend you read it, but I actually know the author. I mean, we're
right,
friends. We know each other, and that's that's my latest little
right.
sort of commitment. It's not as big a commitment, but it's a way to be out there. It's a way to bring some value to somebody. Um, it's
Well,
plus it's
it's
fun,
funny because I've written a lot of books. For those
right?
that listen know that I brag a bunch, and
Mhm.
some of them know all the titles, which is great. Some of them have read all of them. But I took one of my older books, Lessons from the Dojo, the other day, and I just read a chapter,
Mhm.
or a lesson on TikTok, and immediately I sold like 5 or 6 books off of Amazon, so I can track it back
Nice.
to TikTok. Yeah, I used to do the same thing on Facebook or Instagram, and nobody gave a crap. So it's
Yeah,
like,
it's funny. Yeah, it's it's funny, and I'm trying to learn some of that marketing thing from book standpoint because I'm hopefully I'm committed that by somewhere mid first quarter here I'm going to release my first book. I'm middle to I'm probably 60% done, 70% done. Um,
and is it sharing
I'm
your
at
stories of
Yep.
of
It's sharing a story. It's gonna be called either my or the journey to hybrid. and it's really going to how I started in sales, learned from my dad back on the farm, learned relationship building and commitment and following up, and then I track through a little of that, and then I'm really going to get into what we talked about a minute ago, the last 2 or 3 years of how I took the old school road warrior concept, went full all in new school road warrior, if you will, and then how I came back to a hybrid version of it. And just really, maybe anybody that's interested in how I did that and what I do,
Hmm.
you know, that's going to be the story. So, um, and I figured that I know I'm going to buy one for my wife, my kids, and my sons. And so, I mean, I think I'll sell at least 10 or 12 probably.
Well, I'm sure all the listeners right now are going to immediately put it on their calendar for next year to buy Randy's book. I mean,
Exactly. They
that's
should.
what you have to do. I mean, because for you know, for me, listening to I guess not some, but most stories of those who have gone and done it before me. I mean, I think your story's awesome because, I mean, for me, after about 5 hours being in a car, I can't stand it anymore. And I've taken the train from Pennsylvania or Virginia down to Florida. It's the auto train, and it just takes forever.
Yeah.
But they take your car with you, so when you get out, you got your car.
Oh,
Uh,
sure.
but I prefer a plane. I prefer getting a rental car. But yeah, I've taken 20-hour drives to Florida, and I'm like, I'm never doing this
Yeah.
again. And then a year later, I'm back doing it again. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's, my thing is when I'm driving, I panicked today. I had to stop at a Dollar General store and buy a charger because I couldn't find my charger for some reason. My phone didn't charge last night. And so like I have I have two backup batteries and they weren't charging fast enough because I never turn the radio on in my car.
hmm
Almost never. Because either I'm thinking and listening to the voices in my head and we have great conversations, sometimes arguments, but but also I just use the road time to talk to customers,
hmm
and either to follow up, did you get samples? I mean, true business calls, if you will. But when you have customers for as long as I have, they're like I said, they're buds, they're friends. A lot of times they just love to hear from you.
yeah.
You know, what are you doing? Nothing. You busy? Because if you are, no, no, just sitting here working on a couple things. Go ahead, and we'll just BS for 20 minutes, right?
hmm
So those are some of the best sales calls in the world because I'm not looking for anything.
Right.
I'm just looking to be your friend for because we
And,
are
and
friends.
and
Or
and and there you go. You just hit on it because this is the one thing I've always instilled in all my clients. I am your friend first, your
yeah,
marketer guy second. And
yep,
and some don't like that. They want that separation.
hmm
But the ones who embrace it have become long-term clients who I've kept for years and years and years.
right,
And if they have a problem, they can call me. And it
right,
doesn't even have to be related to business. It could be their kids. It could be something that they just need a place to vent.
right, exactly. And you know what I love is in being I own a rep agency, so we rep no numerous manufacturers, and I love being the first guy you call.
Hmm.
If I don't have it, I'll try to find it for you. I don't care if it's a competitor. I'll find
Right.
it for you because if I don't have it, you need it. If you need it, then you need it. I'm going to help you because they remember. I want them to remember that the first and only call I really need to make is I call Randy
Hmm.
because Randy's my guy, right? That's what I want.
Hmm.
And I think you're making a mistake as a rep or a sales guy if you just do that pat easy. No, no, I'm sorry, Rob. We don't handle that.
Right.
Well, now you, but if I say, Rob, I don't. How soon do you need an answer? A couple days. Give me a couple days. I'm gonna make some calls. I'll find something. I mean, I've literally taken an order and called my competitor and gave it to him,
Hmm.
right? Because that's all a win. There's no
Right.
loss there. You can't
Right.
lose what you weren't going to have. I don't
Right.
have it.
And one thing for me is I don't want people to give, if I give work to a competitor, I don't want a percentage. I don't want a finder's fee.
No,
Just take it.
yeah, exactly.
There's enough business out there, and one
Right.
day you're going to give me something. I don't. To me, this whole percentage of finding fee,
Yeah.
it
No, no.
just muddies the water.
It does. It does. Just do the right thing. And that's old. That's way old school. But man, if you just take care of each other and do the right thing, because even with competitors, excuse me, doing this a long time in my industry, I know, I probably know them all,
Hmm.
and I'm friends with most of them. Just because we compete, I look at it like with you watch NFL football, right? You're on the opposing team, and if I'm the defensive end, you're the quarterback, and you're my best buddy off the field, I'm going to still drill you into the ground when the whistle blow or when the snap, right? But we're still going to go have a Dr Pepper and a steak after the game, right?
Right.
And it's the same way in what I do. I'm if we're competing on the same deal, I'm competing. I
Right.
won't target you if we're friends. I won't go out of my way to be beyond what I normally do. I'll honor that part of being friends. But if the business makes sense for me to have, I'm going to try to get the business.
Hmm.
But if it doesn't, then that's okay too. We still going to have a Mountain Dew together, right? Or a Dr Pepper. I mean, that's just a silly way to look at it. Life's too short because all industries I've found, and I've been in this industry a long time, but I think they're all the same. However big they are, they're still small,
Right.
and people tend to stay in the same industry. So this competitor buddy or competitor today could work for me. He could buy from me. He could be my boss. Who knows what that could be someday, right? So why would I'd hate to have just really thumped on some competitor and not been friendly and just been a jerk, and then find out he's the senior buyer at one of my biggest, uh, customers someday, right? You know, it's kind of like that story we've all heard where some guy's going for a job interview, right? And he's screaming and yelling at the guy in the parking lot because he took his spot. Then he walks into the office, and the guy screaming and yelling at happens to be the senior VP that he's interviewing with, right? Whoops, right?
Yeah.
You don't know, so
Right.
why would you do that? If
So
you get it, you get it.
where can the audience learn and buy from you?
They can go to it's real easy. It's ibuyfromandy.com because why shouldn't you, right? Um, and so if they go to ibuyfromandy.com or .net, but ibuyfromandy.com will take my website. You can find me there. You can find me all over social media under Randy Chafee. You can find me under Building Wins Live, which is my podcast, which is a weekly plus podcast that's Building Wins has got a unique reason behind it. I'm in the building business, right? So building wins makes sense, but I'm really about building wins, right?
Hmm.
Whether it's personal wins or spiritual wins or health and fitness wins, wins equals wins, right? The more wins you got and you throw on the win pile, they just keep compounding and growing. So everything I do on my show is about building wins of some type, whatever that is. So if they we do the shows right now are all vlogs, so they're video like we're doing now.
Hmm.
Uh, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. We are gradually adding them to the social media platforms. We're on Spotify now and Apple Podcasts and two or three others. So basically, I've done it because if you don't Google yourself, you're a dummy. I Google myself often. At least I get one hit, right? That's what I do. I don't want to be zero. If you Google me, you'll find me, or if you go to any of the social media, you'll find me. So, and I'd love to anybody that wants to connect. I'm a connector. I don't stay away from. I'm not one. I don't go looking out of my industry a lot, but I
Hmm.
accept because I figure anybody that I can know that I mean, you and I met, and we're not in the same industry, but that's okay. You meet good people. You meet good people, right?
Right.
So
And you're not traumatized yet, so that's good.
I'm not. I was waiting for the major sarcastic thing to come, and I was ready. But it didn't come yet. So
Yeah, I was holding back.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the iced tea. I blame the iced tea.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Well, I got my little bit of Diet Coke that I seldom drink, but I had all the coffee. I had 6 coffees this morning by 8:30, and I mean,
Wow.
when I mean coffees, I mean the big coffees. And I couldn't drink any more coffee, so I went my caffeine with the Diet Coke because I've got to drive about 2 hours tonight after my dinner meeting because I need to be someplace for a 7 o'clock breakfast in the morning. So if you're a road warrior, you do what you got to do, right?
Yeah. If I had that many coffees, I wouldn't be on the road. I'd be finding a Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, that's my story, man. And the key is
Yeah.
most of what I just told you is true. No, I was kidding.
And there you go. As Randy said on a podcast earlier, not a podcast, on a TikTok, live it, love it, own it. So
Exactly.
go over there and go to his site, ibuyfromrandy.com. And this is what makes Randy an e-hero. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Adios.